Okay, hello everyone, and welcome back to Common English Mistakes. Don't just learn, improve. So today we're going to look at something one of my students asked about, and something I've seen people make mistakes with, which is the difference in meaning when certain verbs are followed by either at or to. It's quite a useful thing to know and understand because it's a common rule for these verbs. So if you know the rule, you're going to easily expand your vocabulary. We'll also look at a couple of phrasal verbs with to, which don't follow the rule, but are useful to know nonetheless. So anyway, the mistake is up here. I threw a snowball to my friend. So just pause the video, try to correct the sentence. If you can correct it easily, think what the difference in meaning might be between at and to. And well done if you said, I threw a snowball at my friend. So if you throw something at someone or something, either it's aggressive, in which case maybe a little bit angry, or you're very focused and aiming at someone or something. That example could be all four, maybe not angry if it's just a bit of fun. So in a sport like darts, the players throw the darts at the board because they're aiming and very focused on it. And teachers like myself get angry when kids throw things at each other in an aggressive way. So that's throw something at. If you throw something to, it's not going to be aggressive, probably less strength and force, a little less focused, just in the direction of, and basically pass. So in basketball, you throw the ball to your teammate to pass it, or in class, kids often throw things like erasers to each other. Obviously, I don't want that, but it's not as serious as throwing it at a classmate. So that's the general rule that we're going to see repeated. If you do something at, it's either aggressive, probably angry, or focused and aiming at something. If you do something to, not aggressive, less strength and force, and in the direction of. Just be careful because obviously these aren't the only two prepositions you can use. You can throw a piece of paper in the bin or maybe throw a ball over the fence. So then we're going to see the same rule for kick. She kicked the ball at the goal. That's where she was aiming. Or a few years ago, Neymar got in trouble for kicking the ball at the referee in an aggressive way because he was angry. And then in football, you kick the ball to your teammates to pass it. And then with hit, in golf, you hit the ball at the flag. That's where you're aiming. And a few years ago, Novak Djokovic got in trouble, was disqualified from a tournament for hitting a ball at a line judge. People argue whether he was aiming at her, but it certainly was aggressive, angry, so use the preposition at. I would say most of the time you're going to use hit at, not hit to. If you play paddle, tennis, you can imagine a situation where the coach hits balls to you with less strength and force that you have to volley. Think about the situation and choose whichever preposition is best. With shoot, shoot to doesn't exist because it's always either aggressive and aiming, the enemy shot at the soldiers, or in football, you shoot at goal, that's where you're aiming. And the same rule applies when you use the phrase take a shot. So the player took a long-range shot at goal. We can also use take a shot plus noun or verb ing to mean make an attempt. I took a shot at guessing my colleague's age, made an attempt, or a teacher might say, take a shot at this question, don't worry if you get it wrong. So moving on, the same concept applies to shout. If you don't do your homework, your teacher might shout at you in an aggressive and angry way. And this doesn't always have to be people. A lot of people shout at the TV when they're watching sport, when they don't like what happened in the game. Generally, I think students know that. Shout to is much less common. If you shout to your friend across the street, you're shouting in the direction of them, not aggressively, because you're trying to get their attention. Again, same concept applies. And then it's the same concept for point. Usually we point at things, very focused and direct. It's rude to point at people. But then you can also say point to in the general direction. She pointed to where she lived. So then with look, generally we look at, because that's where we're focusing with our eyes. Look to is a phrasal verb, which means hope that someone or something will give you help. So for example, she looks to her mum when she needs advice, or in the pandemic, a lot of people look to the government for support. While we're here, I might as well give you a similar phrasal verb, turn to, which means actively go to someone or something in a difficult situation, often for help. So that original example, you could say she turns to her mum for advice. She goes and asks her mum for advice, but it doesn't always have to be a positive thing. Sadly, a lot of people turn to drugs when they're having problems. They go to and use drugs in difficult situations. Anyway, explanation over. Not a difficult concept, as you can see, but quite an important one, because it is easy to confuse, and if you can learn it properly, you're going to expand your vocabulary nicely. As ever, guys, if you're watching the video and found it useful, do make sure to like, subscribe if you haven't done so already, and think about sharing the video with others. Help getting this channel bigger would be much appreciated. But anyway, when you're ready, let's practice and improve. Just pause the video, look at these sentences here, think about the situation and what meaning you need, and complete them with either at or to from what you've learned in today's lesson. And well done. If you said, me and my friends used to throw water balloons at each other, not aggressive or angry, but we're aiming. I took a shot at making a souffle the other day, made an attempt, although it wasn't successful, as you can see. This one's a bit subtle. I would say it's best to say the doctor asked me to point to where the pain was, because it's the general area. Point at wouldn't be the worst thing to say though. And then I threw the car keys to my friend because he wanted them. I'm just passing them to him. I shouted to my friend at the bar to buy me a drink. Again, it's not aggressive, shouting in the general direction of him. And finally, a lot of young people look to their parents for help when buying a house. So now just pause the video and write, say, or discuss the same sentences for you. And finally, today's question, we'll use that phrase, take a shot at, plus noun or verb ing, make an attempt. What was the last thing you took a shot at doing? So do write your answers in the comments, guys. Always good to practice a phrase. Anyway, that's basically it for today. I hope that was useful for you and you're going to be more accurate and expanded your vocabulary. I'll see you for another video next week, but until next time, see ya.